Hey Buns, do you have a main job in Final Fantasy XIV? One that you just keep on coming back to? That is the question I asked on social media this week, and after reading through over 1,500 comments, one,
Wow.
I now want to play every single job, and two, this is going to have to be split into two parts. So today we're just going to talk about the tanks and the healer jobs.
Yeah, last time we watched the DPS version, you can find that one in the videos in case you missed it. I published it as a separate one.
Why people play those, what they like about them, and part two for DPS is coming soon. Warrior, I got two words from you. Felcleave. Step one, glowy red eyes. Step two, Felcleave. Felcleave times seven.
When I switched from WoW to Final Fantasy, what surprised me, well, not the most, but one of the things that surprised me is how much attention people really pay to the aesthetic of their spells. Like in WoW, yeah, you have some flashy effects and some really cool spells, and even some glyphs to like make your spells look a little different, or they used to exist rather. But in FF, like you just have people who are just in love with how their spell not just looks but also feels. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Felcleave, big axe, go smash. Big axe, buzz buzz, Felcleave. Felcleave noises. Big axe, go. The sound of multiple Felcleaves.
That is a really cool sound. Felcleave and I have a love relationship. Oh god.
Incidentally, I found a great website for keeping your warrior entertained between pulls. Yeah, so people love Felcleave when talking about warrior.
Wow.
I guess that's one thing they can't cleave out. But seriously, do warriors know words besides Felcleave? Actually, I got some poetry. Me have big axe, me swing big axe, me see big number, me have dopamine. Big
Wow.
axe, small handle, loud noises, Felcleave. I mean, that was a few more words besides Felcleave. But isn't there more to warrior besides Felcleave? Oh yeah.
Repeat after me, lads. I would like to rage.
Pure rage and willpower. Local Eorzean, literally too angry to die. Because fantasy is being an unstoppable berserker. The big self heals make me feel burly, like I can shrug off attacks and muscle my way to victory. I was looking for an MMORPG where I could play as a big ass dude with a big ass axe. Then I found 14. Big ass dude, Roganin, check. Big ass axe class, warrior, double check.
When I started FF, I really wanted to play Dark Knight because I just wanted to have a big ass sword. And I never really thought I was gonna play Peli because I didn't quite resonate with with their lore and stuff. But like later on, like when I went through all of the role quests and the job quests and whatnot, I don't know, like I can hardly see myself making anything else. Maybe machinist that I just started because it has a crazy ass gun that I'm loving.
I just get angry. I'm amused by a small lizard getting angry at monsters.
Oh.
Full healing from one ability and nascent flash. It makes me feel like an unstoppable powerhouse. I get to protect my team while being a lightning rod of hate for our enemies. Also, Lion Man with an axe is A plus aesthetic. I guess you could call him an Apex. I am a gunbreaker. I like being at the front of the line in the boss's face. It's the ultimate Chad job and has big pro tag energy. Gun blade. It has a gun blade. A gun mixed with a sword that makes explosions is freaking awesome. It goes pew pew. Also, you can live your Squall Leonhard fantasy. Yeah, so lots of y'all said that you wanted to be like Squall from FF8. And who can blame you? I mean, he's a very good looking guy. Oh, wait, there we go.
Oh,
Many
okay.
people said that 8 was their favorite or 8 was their first Final Fantasy. I feel the aesthetic of what it is to wield a gunblade was perfectly captured with a job, and I refuse to give it up. Gunbreaker is the whole reason I played 14. It really
Like, I'm not a big weapon person. I actually have never really played a lot of games where you actually get to hold a weapon. I would even if I did, I would normally like play a caster that just has their two hands and does magic. So I don't really know a lot about them. Like Final Fantasy 14 is like the first time ever that I saw this kind of weapon. Like I don't even know if those weapons are real. Okay, actually, I do know that like spears with guns or rather guns with spears exist. I guess that's where it comes from. Yeah, okay.
Really is reminiscent of 8. It's got the familiar skill names, combination of 8 and Dissidia with 13 added. But what does Gunbreaker offer besides nostalgia and squall backs to other Final Fantasy games? Scaring the shit out of healers, of course. So for those who don't know, every tank has a spell that gives them temporary immunity. Gunbreakers is a super butt clench because every time you use it, your HP drops to 1. And then your healer's HP will also drop to 1 when they go into cardiac arrest.
What? Is that true? Oh, I know how to play Gunbreaker. I did not know that. Our healer appears in the chat at just the right time. Like, out of all the times you could have mentioned this, you never mentioned this. Why?
It's a tank that feels like a DPS. So you can disguise yourself as a tank and skip the DPS queue. Be a deeps with a power trip of a tank. Tank privilege. So it's a good transition for people coming from DPS jobs. It's just so fast, rushing in, fast combos, always building DPS while taking damage. Someone said the continuation combo feels so nice that they dropped Paladin. The combos and abundance of damage dealing skills do it for me. All the flashy effects and explosions add to the aesthetic and make it into a very satisfying job. I have found a joy in Gunbreaker that I've been looking for a long time. So yeah, if you want to feel like an outlaw or the protagonist of a hack and slash game, go pay a visit to Sophie and Radovan. Maybe you'll find you'd like to play Gunbreaker, Radovan some other tank. Paladin, the iconic tank archetype in my first job. Actually,
it feels like it's everyone's first job. Like, whoever starts with a tank, they are mostly going to start with Pally, because there's like this common stigma that like Pally tanks are the easiest ones. And then you have all the people who started with Warrior being like, what? That's not true.
It was my first max level character. It has the sword and board knightly aesthetic. In Shadowbringers, they nailed both the physical and magic side, making both fun to do. It may not be as flashy or as mechanically complex as other jobs, but it feels good to be able to sustain myself while protecting the party. It's kind of silly, but to me, Paladin is the job that feels the most like playing a classic hero. Brings out my inner crusader. In the darkest nights, the Paladin will stand on hollowed ground. When hope seems to fade, they will heal and protect. Stand behind their wings and they will shield you from oncoming challenges.
The wings. Definitely the wings.
But they will also attack. A heroic knight that will charge in and protect others from harm. Paladin, protect all. You, me, he, and she. Paladin, protect all. You know, actually, I think out of all of the jobs, Paladin had the most wholesome comments. Aww. Since Paladin has a strong heal and the ability to take pain for their friends, I feel as if I identify with it because I love to protect my friends, and I always will. Paladin never forgets protection. So aside from every Paladin man having a good and true heart necessary for drawing a sword from the stone, they are also basically immortal. Clemency and Hollowed Ground seem to make me nearly invincible. I can use Hollowed Ground and then ask the rest of my group how they died. My team is somehow beating the boss even though everyone died and I'm just supposed to accept the wipe. I just love being able to clutch fights when the healer dies with Clemency. Yeah, if your healer dies and you're the Paladin, you're the healer now, sweetie. There is another.
I have to hear this voice again.
You're the healer now, sweetie. There is another. I have a shield that blocks everything but emotional damage. Well, the tears might make you more
Oh no!
free to hit. Paladin feels so good to play. Lots of party mitigation, a consistent rotation allowing for cool little optimizations, and a badass confiture, that's the sword from the stone that I was talking about. I get to be Captain America both in throwing shields and doing this all day.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
I love the beginning of that movie. Is that is in the movie, right?
Cap probably should have popped Sentinel for that tank buster. Big sword, dark magics, emotional turmoil, tank. Just the main makings of a perfect edgelord. The emo kid of the tanks. The Dark Knight just looks badass. Big swords.
I love how this guy quoted Linkin Park.
Perfect edgelord. The emo kid. of the tanks. The Dark Knight just looks badass. Big swords, big hits, and even bigger emo style. I love it. Just being a badass edge lord. Okay, but you might be thinking, I don't have any emotional turmoil, Zepla. Like, why would I want to be an edgy boy? Don't worry. The Dark Knight job quest will get you shopping at Hot Topic in no time. Dark Knight has the only job quest that made me cry. Seconding this, the Dark Knight job quest literally had me in tears. Someone said the story is amazing and by far the best of all classes. It really feels like it hits the player deep with these inner struggles that the Warrior of Light has to deal with to become better. The Dark Knight job quests were written by Natsuko Ishikawa, who wrote the main scenario quests for Shadowbringers, so you know it's good if you haven't tried it yet. I think that...
Now we know how good she really is, right?
What she said about Shadowbringers guides the Dark Knight job quest too in a philosophical way. She said, to some people, what may seem like the right of way or what's true or good for them may not necessarily be good for everyone. A lot of people, though, just like having a big sexy weapon, a nice long sword. But did I mention that Dark Knights have the most ridiculously good defensive cooldown in the game? It is called Blackest Night, and it's almost always available so long as you don't waste your MP. Also edgy AF. I've played all the tanks, and there are things to enjoy about every single one. But the Blackest Night makes such a huge difference, and I love having the ability to just say, no, you, when I get hit with a tank buster. Dark Knight, because I get the Blackest Night, which not only has the plus side of sounding edge as I can look bosses in the eye and be like, that tickled. By the way, Dark Knight mains use the F word way more than everybody else. I don't know why. Let's fray this and fray that. No, but seriously, they said a lot.
And I gotta bleep it all so YouTube won't be mad at me.
Anyways, that's it for the tanks. So let's move right on to the healers, starting with White Mage. Based on the replies I got, there seems to be two types of White Mage. Here's the first type. I love playing as White Mage because I love being the supporting type of player as a companion and a friend. And White Mage really brings out my helpful side. Plus, I love the general aesthetic of the class. Very flashy and pretty. I love helping people. Most Final Fantasies, my favorite character is a White Mage's, and I just wanted to be my own favorite character. I love walking around the world, randomly healing people in need when they're on a quest. Even if they don't need help, I'll still pop them a regen or a quick cure. I love it. Nothing beats leaving a duty knowing that I kept all those people alive. So wholesome. WHM for wholesome. But now here's the vastly more common second type. As a White Mage, I only heal so that I can kill. Letting people I dislike in the party die. White Mages are the most evil players you'll ever meet. I like White Mage because I can play limbo with other people's lives and they can't complain because I'll let them die because I can. Honestly,
what
I
the
like
hell?
people being alive and maybe having the option to let them die if they don't listen to me.
Yeah, but like, to be honest, all of the healers, or mostly all of the healers that I know belong to the second type. Wow, my circle of friends is quite something.
Perfectly trustworthy White Mage. I love being able to choose who lives and who dies in my party. Especially those that like to talk big. So yeah, obviously power over life and death appeals to a certain type of person. Rescuing someone to their death when they piss me off. Giving pity regens to people that fail mechanics and beg for heals. Blood for the Blood Lily. A lot has changed for White Mages since Stormblood. We used to be the bottom of the barrel. Scholar had the shields and Astrologian had the buff cards, but that all changed when the Blood Lily rose. None shall remain standing in the path of our misery. Blood for the Blood Lily.
But what incarnation is a Blood Lily? Well, in Shadowbringers, White Mage got a new Lily gauge, so when you cast a heal spell that costs 1 Lily, it will nourish the Blood Lily. When the Blood Lily blooms, you can use Afflatus Misery, a 900 potency AoE damage spell. That's a lot of damage, so if you ask me, that's probably where their bloodthirst stems from.
Jeez.
What does that mean for all the rest of us?
Thou art all but nourishment for the Blood Lilies. The ability to rescue insubordinate party members off the platforms and harvest their life essence in service of the Blood Lily. I think a lot of them actually start out thinking, oh, it's pretty, or I like trees, or I can be a magical girl. And then after one too many surprise super butt clenches, they develop a taste for blood. The excitement of playing White Mage can be addicting. One new player said that they're living for the awareness of watching mechanics, abilities, and party health. I love the healing bursts. What raid-wide damage. And let's not forget your flashbang AoE spell that stuns enemies while you do a cute twirl. Finally, White Mage is simple to learn. White Mage good, it easy. Caveman brain do E8S heal good. White Mage appeals to my very smooth and shiny brain. No thoughts, only glare. Okay, that's hilarious. Okay, next up is
Dude, I have a sneaking suspicion you tried to get me to play White Mage because of that.
Astrologen. The most commonly used word by Astrologen is definitely aesthetic. It's a beautiful class. The fortune teller time wizard aesthetic is unlike anything in any other game. I love the gear and the shiny stars. I love all the pretty stars.
Aww.
I love the aesthetic of the class, from weapon and gear designs to the spell effects. When I first saw it, I knew that whenever I actually started playing the game, that's the class I wanted to main, and I've loved every second of it. Based on all the replies I've seen, I've concluded that people who play Astrologen are card game nerds, people who are meta, or people who could probably turn you into a frog.
Some of this I agree with.
In real life. I like yelling at my friends, "Heart of the cards," and crying when I don't get what I want. I always love to watch the stars, and I'm into tarot and stones and all that. So when checking the game out, I fell in love with Astrologen instantly, and it's been my main for 3 years now. Ever since I was a child, stars made me feel happy, feel protected and motivated. I like the idea of being the same for my party.
I love how people just massively ignore what stars really are. That there are just like burning balls of death very far away. But like, ooh, pretty stars. You know, like people have such a wrong perception of stars on purpose.
I've always loved stars and constellations. I love the story quest portraying using that power to serve others, and it's the closest thing I can get to Time Mage. As someone who believes in spirituality and the paranormal, I've always been attached to the tarot. I've always been enamored by the practice and the beauty of it. 8 out of 10 Astrologen mains can give you a free online tarot reading between pulls. But it seems like Astrologen mains are born, not made. Like they're like star children. Anyways, besides the space witch vibes, Astrologen has a unique playstyle, letting you buff, shield, and heal. With the light speed, you can insta-cast for 15 seconds every minute and a half. A lot of people said that it's busy, fast-paced, and engaging. There's so much to do. The cards help you feel like you're doing a lot compared to something like White Mage. It feels like the most hands-on healer. I like to micromanage things and stay at a constant pace. Astrologen is a busy class, and that's kind of what makes it fun for me. Astrologen is the only healer I can play without getting bored. Also, thanks to short cast times, you can weave anything for free. I can move around and weave as much as I want, whenever I want. I love to play with a speed cast of my main spells. And
seems like this is a good job for those impatient people out there.
I'm not gonna talk about those cards, which I get 5 times the same in a row. Well, sometimes you're drawing cards and you gotta bet your sweet ass you get the right one. A couple of comments made me think that this might be the most godly OP lore-wise job, though, because each card opens up the constellation and releases its power. The lore implications for Astrologen's power is mind-boggling. The fact that we draw ether from distant stars is amazing to me. I guess somebody with that kind of power really would hold all the cards. I love having Astrologens in my group because we always get decked out with buffs. Okay, that's enough. Scholar, the ultimate book nerd with so many ways to keep your party covered.
I kind of want to have the fat fairy. Like, if I don't know, like I know you guys said White Mage, and I know you're also saying Sage, but I just want my friend.
I love its complexity and fluidity to react to any fight. It has good resources to feel productive and a battle librarian aesthetic. The fantasy of academic success and intelligence. Scholar makes me feel smarter than my 68 in algebra denotes. It makes me look smart as I hold a book and seems to read it. Funny thing, scholars and summoners were the most likely players to say something had big dick energy. Or with big brain. Like, I don't know why arcanists are like that, but that was just something I noticed. I thought I should share. I love the resources needed for MP regen and the amount of big dick shields I can put out. I love the shielding aspect of Scholar. You have to predict incoming damage and do big brain stuff. Yes, those big energy shields are what set Scholar apart. Mitsuki there is my static Scholar. Shield me a lot. When a boss starts an attack I'm unfamiliar with and I start shooting bricks, I can shield preemptively instead of standing there waiting to see how much cleanup will be required. Clearly so, if you already started. Scholar is just too much fun. I feel powerful getting a critical adlo on the tank and watch the mobs do no damage. Haha, you can't get in. Yeah, when the damage goes out, it's just like a tick on your Scholar shield. Hey, maybe that's where she got her name.
Aww.
Anyways, yeah, you can have your very own cute healing companion so that you'll never be alone. Someone in the comments was like, wait, scholars get fairies? And when somebody explained that yes they do, the new person was like, oh. Anyway, I just thought that was a really cute
they're so
moment.
cute.
Like a new player discovering fairies. But just how helpful are Eos and Celine? I'll never go back to White Mage. I've got good instant cast resources, and I love how Eos will try to carry my team through if I get imprisoned or frozen. As a scholar, I like having a co-healer that actually does their job. Wow. If I'm slacking off on heals, I can blame Eos. Those scholars. Always blaming somebody else. Well, that just about wraps things up for part 1 of reasons why people play the jobs that they do and stick with them. Part 2 will cover the DPS and will be out very soon. If you don't want to miss it, you should subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you will get an alert whenever that next video goes out. It should be my next video if all goes according to plan. So if you like this video, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow Warriors of Darkness. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
That was a good one. I did like this one a little bit more because I'm more inclined to play a tank, but the DPS one was also fun.